realize I see through your disguise every move you make. I'll be standing here while observing you. Won't you feel okay? Tell her my soul tonight. Don't say how much you're kind. If you think I look okay, see me the next day. Can't you realize I see through your disguise every move you make? I'm standing here while observing you. Won't you feel okay? Or stuck up and feeling moody, the onus is on you. Whoa, the feeling's just electrifying, making your own way bust. Why can't you understand me? Just look and you see, ma. Tell her my soul tonight. Don't say how much you're kind. If you think I look okay, see me the next day. Can't you realize I see through your disguise every move you make? I'll be standing here while observing you. Won't you feel okay? To find if it stinks like vomit there, avoid it like a plague. In the devil's eyes, would he give me bad advice? Every move he faced, I'll be damn land a crunch of Lucifer. He'd probably make me stay. Yes, yes, yes.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, this is the Quaver Baron. All right, that's enough from you. Thank you very much. Good to see everyone's online already. Excellent. Welcome, July the 12th, 2020. Anybody see me? Okay, thank you, Mr. Producer. Got a different producer on the case tonight. First time on the show. Pardon?
A bit quiet.
I'm a bit quiet, he says. Okay, maybe just Baron was very loud on his singing. Okay, is that better? How's that, Leon? Hello, everyone. Yes, who we got? Robert Pierce. Oh, it's just his microphone, his headset. We had that last week, didn't we? Oh, dear. Hello, Mr. Pierce, Mr. Lick, Robert Greenleaf, Mandy McCourt. Hiya, Mandy. Excellent to see you. Jarden, yes. Dawn Hilton. Hey, I haven't seen you for a while. How you doing? What have we got for tonight? Well, I shall go through that in a moment, Dawn. We got a load. We had a very busy week on the group. So we do lots of updates on that, and I've got 12 updates. Well, sorry, 11. And I am going to be doing a little thing on some meanings of special words. Yes, hi everyone. Hello, Hugh Evans, Chris Woods, excellent. Hello, yes, hello, Alan Reese. Everyone's saying hello, I like this bit. Isn't it exciting? What a busy week we have had. Right, where to start? Okay. Sorry, I've just blocked myself out in my beautiful pink book of notes. Here we go. Excuse me. I'm piling up so much stuff on my desk and hardly see what I'm doing. Hopefully you can see alright. Yep. Okay. Now the first one is, a bit short on the videos. Thank you for all the good messages I've had. You can probably see cards all around me. Let's turn around a bit. There's loads more cards. Sure you can see those. Or maybe you can't. Anyway, lots of sympathy cards. You know, that's my father a couple months ago. Then my dad. Then my mother. And we had the funeral this Thursday. So it's been a bit of a slow up on the videos, which is a shame. Obviously, a very sad time. One thing I would like to say about this, I don't want to get too heavy or anything, but part of the process, as you know, my mother had been ill for a long, long time. And if anyone is in this situation, it can really, not only can it drag you down, and it's obviously very sad to see the person you love deteriorating, but it can also really affect your own memories, that you sort of get stuck in that picture of the person as an old, sick person, whatever was wrong with them, and you can lose your earlier memories. And something I found, and this does tie in to hidden history, I'm not just completely wandering off on a tangent, is what you find is your memory can become jaded, and you start to think only of the person as the old sick person who's, quite frankly, hard work and very stressful, and caused me a lot of problems. And I don't mean that cruelly. It wasn't intentional. Mother had dementia and lost what she was doing a long time ago. So that clouds your judgment. Now, when you come up to the funeral service, because of the lockdown restrictions, we only had a short period, only half an hour, including going in and going out, and that didn't seem very long, so I won't bother with a eulogy. I just started making a few notes, and I did. And what I found was very emotional, very sad, traumatic really. But it's also what they call, I always get this wrong way around, cathartic. You get this cathartic. And what it does, it forces you to write about the person's whole life. And what happened in the past when they were young and vigorous and strong and full of energy and vibrant and loving people. And that memory then floods out the more recent memory, and you think of the whole life that person's led. Now, this does come into what we're doing here when we're looking at history. It struck me then, a couple of days ago, that it's very much like what we do with our history, especially with Wales and all of Britain. I think it's most marked, the contrast in Wales, where the only history we're taught in the schools generally is coal mines and industry, and then depression. My grandfather was a coal miner, and I was brought up on the great strikes of the 20s and 30s. The hungry miners, my grandfather's a professional boxer to make up his pay. And all in all, it's very difficult times, very hard, always very hard. And that's kind of the memory we're filled with. So what we look more at, as you know, on the Britain's Hidden History group, is to look more and more at the bright side, the vigorous time of glory that is, for some reason, which you never really understand, is left out of our history books and lessons. Right, now there's a whole raft of messages, so I'm going to just run through some of them here. Hang on, we're talking about people have been in Facebook jail. Well, I reckon if you haven't had at least one strike, you're not just trying hard enough, are you? What's Dawn saying? I've been finding lots of stone whales in Lancashire. Neolithic ones, and not ignoring you guys. I've just been busy. Yeah, Dawn, we're wondering where you were. I mentioned you in a few videos. For those who don't know, Dawn has a real empathy with scenery and stones, and seeing the messages within them and the time. And I have to say, at first, it seemed an unlikely thing to me, but I am blown over. And if you watch my videos on places like where we got to St. Peter's, I always make a point for Dawn to shoot the lay of the land, the rocks, ditches, things like that, and see what can be seen in them. So don't knock it till you tried it. Trust me on this one. Okay. Right, now, first we're going to do is a roundup, and I think there's so much news to round up, it could take up most of the show. So, the good news is I can see the comments this week as fast as they come in. I can for now anyway, until I start doing screen sharing. Okay, so I've done that one. There will be a lot more videos, that's what I was going to say, a lot more videos coming up. Already filmed, a couple more time trips. Yeah, I got it here as well for a bit, thank you. I got Leon. Leon is on the decks. Leon is producer. He's in charge. So if you see me being nudged or something, just going to show your face quickly, Leon. Just going to come and say hello.
Hello.
I don't know if you can see him or not. Oh, yes, there he is. It's a bit weird because the camera makes everything the wrong way around. He's coming from my right, but it looks like left on there. I don't know. How that works, I guess it's true. We're just used to mirrors, aren't we? So Leon, I have to just quickly, Leon does videos much better than mine. They've got all moving graphics, intros. He does green screen stuff. So just you wait. Got the green screen going when Leon's been in charge for a couple of weeks. Although Arnie wants his job back, so he's just busy today. So anyway, there we go. What else we got coming through? My messages stopped coming through. Great to find you my way once again. Oh my, yeah, there's loads. Sorry, I'm not getting them on my feed. I'll have to have a look later. So I do apologise. Let's have a look. I've hurt my neck, so every time I look across, I get a little twinge. You know, it's great to find my way here once again. Eddie, hello Eddie the man. Yes, good to see you back. I've got to check my answer regards the book Rama. Oh, Rama by Arthur C. Clarke. That's right, I meant to read that, didn't I? Right, okay, anyway, let's get on with the news, because there's so much news this week. There's so much to report. Okay, right. First of all, a lot of these have come up through the Facebook group, okay? And some of people have emailed me and contacted me, and it's great. I don't know if you saw, I put a video up from Craig Moyle. We went up to Merthyr, and that was one good one. Okay, right, now I've got the first one here. Armenian links. Thank you very much to Richard Evans for this one. Right, let's get this right. Come on, computer, what's going on? Why is it when I'm in the middle? Why I set everything up, all the pages are ready, and suddenly the screen's gone blank?
It was working a second ago.
I know it's working a second ago. Can Facebook stop working? I had the pictures downloaded from Facebook to display on the screen. It just appeared. There we are. The patience. I think what happens is, because there's streaming software capturing everything, so it can be broadcast, that takes a lot of CPU usage. Anyway, so here we go. Richard Evans, thank you very much. Regular contributor. Also been great getting things going for their computers, which I think is in my update list. The computers for... I'll say it now, it's not on the list. The computers for Alan and Barham. They are being purchased. They've been done. We've got a techie guy just putting all the bits on. And because he can build computers, we get lots of extra stuff. I'm actually getting 2. Want to get a printer as well. A few more donations would help us over the line. But I'll be getting that, and then hopefully we'll get the money back at some point. I have faith in the people watching. So that's really good. If you want to contribute, we've got Patreon page. And anyway, anything. PayPal, bank transfers, whatever. We got a lot of expenses coming up, so it'll really help. Anyway, if you can see on screen, let's do the screen share, see if this works.
Yep.
Yay, there we go. Look at this. Check this out. This week, Richard Evans, 6th of July. So, actually, yeah, it is this week. Ho, ho, ho. Take a look at the name of a major town in northwest Armenia. Then look it up, what it means on Wiki. And see what it says. I don't know whether this strengthens your Lewin's theory, Ross. Well, the thing was, if we zoom in on there... My computer's going to take for ages now. And it still looks very small. Anyway, the point is, the place there is called Gymru. So it's like Cymru, only it's being mutated to a G. Now,
Zoom in, by the way.
Go on, and how do I do that?
How you do that?
No, you can't.
Yeah, the 3 dots. You click on the 3 dots and you can have zoom and press. Give some time to slow down.
Alright, we'll catch up now. Alright, thank you. There we go. If you want to know how to do something, ask a 9-year-old. Thank you. Right, there's a place there. I can't see it now. Can I put my glasses on? Oh, go on, show me where it is. Oh, well done, Leon. Yeah, that's handy, isn't it? It says me zoomed in for everything now, isn't it? Oh, no, it's carried on zooming. There's a place there called Gymru, okay? And this ties in, of course, with the Armenian. Do you know what? Have a look at Armenia. Fascinating country. I'd love to go there. Along with Georgia, but Armenia particularly, because it seems very much like Wales somehow. Loads of similarities, similar populations, mountainous. They also claim to be the first country in the world to have Christianity. Now, I don't think that's a contradiction necessarily. I think that's more a case of Both. They're linked people, perhaps. And if you're looking at 500 BC, anyway, Armenia, definitely a subject for future discussion, okay? Just wanted to mention that's a place there actually called Gymru, as in Cymru. And for those who are not familiar with the story, a little bit of background, the idea of the Cymru, the Welsh, and how they got here, started off ancient Assyria, somewhere around there, moving around what would be called the Middle East, becoming the Hyksos, going into Egypt, where the story of Joseph tells us he was in charge, they built things, and then with the famine, they had the food. So out of Egypt to the Middle East, which might be where the term Promised Land comes from. That's for a contentious issue for another day. And onwards and upwards you go. There, after being moved around Babylon and being captured, all these places, they end up going further and further north of Haran, and they cross the Caucasus Mountains, and we got Armenia, which is part of the migration route of the Cymru. So you do find a lot of language links there, and I've spoken to people before who think that, who know people from Armenia who can communicate. And you see Georgia is right next door. So this is a very interesting part of the world for Welsh history. Potentially, if you go with the migration stories, which make perfect sense to me. And I've lost Gymru. Anyway, it's here somewhere. Sorry about that. Look it up yourself or join the Facebook group and you can see the full post and the discussion. All right. Now, is everything going to be zoomed in now, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, 200 times is okay. That's okay. I mean, twice, 200. Right, now. Okay. Now, Tim Lewis, regular contributor, as you know, really good on languages, helped me enormously doing the Cymroglyphics book, all about how to read ancient Egyptian writing using Welsh. And one of his pet hobbies is very much Arthur I and that kind of era and Brutus migration and the early Welsh and British kings. And last weekend, he was up to see the grave of King Arthur I, or at least the graveyard of King Arthur I. Very difficult to tell exactly which one. So let's give a quick background before we read what Tim... Well, let's read Tim's first. Wilson and Blackett have written about Craddock of Llancarfon, describing the location of the grave of King Arthur I as being beyond the scraped-out ditch and near the Great Road. These refer to Offa's Dyke and Watling Street, respectively. All these ancient roads, by the way, were there a long time before the Romans came, okay? A long time. It's not a case of British people were too stupid to put some flat things on the floor and walk on them. All right? On a hill in the heart of Britain, Hart's Hill, funny enough, is a place called Oldbury. Old burial ground, it would seem like, wouldn't it? It is a mile from Watling Street. Yesterday I found a distinct area of many large burial mounds and many deep pits where grave mounds have been plundered and destroyed in the past. And I think that's quite ancient past, so don't be following this station think you're going to be treasure heaps. Several large spoil heaps of small, similar-sized stones indicate a uniformity of materials and probably a style of mound construction. So I was talking to Tim this morning about this. It seems that looking at the waste, what Tim's worked out looking at it, is that he didn't just pile up a load of earth. They did actually get particular size in as a structure, and it'd be really good to do proper surveys of how the mounds and what's in them. So the location is one of the finest in Britain, despite the encroaching woodland, commanding views for around 30 miles. So here's one of the mounds. Hang on, I'm going to click on that. There's not too much of a delay. Here we go. So very much like the ones we see in Wales. There's quite a close-up picture there. Come on, where's the next picture? Here we go. There's an overview of the overall. There's actually more than one Oldbury, as someone pointed out on the comments, and Tim already did on his comments. If you're looking for this place, it's in Warwickshire. Well worth a visit, and you can see various burial sites. And there's some discussion then as to which one's actually Arthur the First and which ones might be other ancient kings. Maybe Brutus went that direction? Yes.
You can go that way as well. You can go that way as well.
Okay.
By that way.
All right. Okay. Mr. Computer Whiz. I think our children have used... I pressed this... Oh, I've got a gamer mouse. It's got so many buttons. Thank you, Leon. Right, so there we go. There's a map of the area. So thank you very much for that, Tim. It's a great little description, map references. And it's a lovely place to visit and look at as well. And I'd like to look at this. Well, there's so much there I'd like to see. I haven't been there, so I can't say too much. The words you're looking for are tumulus. All right? Comes from the old Welsh word. So thank you, Tim, for that one. Very exciting. You keep an eye on the...
Yeah. Well, a few questions.
All right, got some questions then, please, Leon. Got one from Dawn, I can see.
Yep. What can you ask Alan what his thoughts are on Lancashire pennies?
Okay. Right, I need to hook up Leon's microphone as well, don't I? That would be a good idea for next time. So, I don't know if you heard that or not. What he's saying is, throughout Lancashire, the Pennines... This is from Dawn Hilton. Thank you, Dawn. Good to have you back with us. And lots of places start with pen. Pen this, pen that, pen there, which, of course, in Welsh is head. And it can mean, like, top of the mountain, that kind of thing. So maybe there's a connection. So if those who are new to the subject... The old British kingdom, pre-Saxon, you had the Lloegr, which is the English, and you had the Cymry, the Welsh, and the Albain, the Scottish. Those names are still used in Welsh. And the Welsh part of the kingdom would go up from Wales, around the northwest, and up into Strathclyde in Scotland. So all those areas that Dawn has just mentioned there would tie in with the old British place, like the name Cumbria, for instance. It's no coincidence that Wales is called Cymru, and that part of northern England is called Cumbria. They're both areas where the Cymry lived. So I'll ask Alan Wilson about that, but it'd be no surprise to find Welsh or British words in an area like that, where it is Welsh or British, effectively. I think that was it for Tim's pictures. I always nag him to take more pictures. He's a shocker. I'm very much quantity over quality, and he's very much quality over quantity, but there we go. Right, what's next? Oh, this is mind-blowing. And I need the pictures from Hugh, and he hasn't sent them in time, or I couldn't get hold of him in time. It's not his fault. I think he texted me the pictures or something in the week. I couldn't get onto my computer. I will do a video on this in the next few days. It's a staggering story. As I'm sure everybody knows, I did the book on how to read hieroglyphics using Welsh, Cymroglyphics. Drawn entirely from the work of Wilson and Blackett in their book Moses in the Hieroglyphs, and you can see something about it in Trojan War. Mine is a sort of how to do it yourself book. All right, made it easy version. Now, Hugh has really grasped this, okay, and he's really gone with it. And one of the challenges he set himself was to translate the Book of the Dead. Right, and if you don't know the Book of the Dead, it's an absolutely integral part of all the folklore and history, both mainstream, alternative, the Graham Hancocks of this world, all of them. The Book of the Dead is a cornerstone, and I think the original one, it's in the British Museum, 26 feet long. It's a vast story, and the translation was a massive undertaking in the 19th century, which I believe was started by Samuel Birch in the 1850s, and then Budge seems to be the one who published the translation. I haven't looked into this thoroughly. I am going to do a proper video, but the gist of it, as I understand it, when I was doing the research for my book, was that Birch is the one who did most of the translating, although he had no real background in Egyptology. In fairness, no one did in those days. He was a Chinese expert, or an expert in the Chinese language, and categorising their pictograms and that. So he just got given the job. And he put all these bits together, and he came up with an idea. And the book we're looking at now is Budge's book, which I think was published about 1891. Don't quote me on these dates. I know the names, but I do need to check exactly how much work Birch did. I thought he did all of it. But it seems it's usually referred to as Budge's translation, so I need to check what's happening there. Anyway, the point of it is, Hugh dives into the translation, okay? And he's asked me for a few bits of help, but he's pretty good, all right? And he's overtaking me quite quickly. There's a few things just to get going. You know, do you know what this is, and how does that look, and that kind of thing. So we're talking about it, and the translation looked a bit strange, and I've done quite a lot of translations now, and I was thinking, okay. Anyway, Hugh's doing a good job. We come up with a few things, and he's charging along. But there was something nagging at Hugh, didn't seem quite right. And he was working from the photographs in the translation of the Book of the Dead, which, I tell you, these translations are amazing. Not hampered by having to actually translate anything, I would say. Those restrictions, the writing is beautiful. There's beautiful love poems, there's dramatic poems, all from hieroglyphics, which I would contend, and the evidence is everywhere, they really cannot read. But what was particularly scandalous in this situation is that Hugh had the now saw intelligence, whatever it was, inspiration to, hang on, let's put me on screen, the inspiration to look at the original and look at photographs of the original scroll rather than just using the book. And he's only into the first few lines, and already he discovered that the hieroglyphs have been swapped round. They're not in the correct order. And how staggering is that? This is the official translation, still referred to today, like, 130 years later, as being this great piece of academic work. They haven't even drawn out the hieroglyphs in order or correctly. And that's just looking at the first page. So who knows? So I think this is going to be pretty huge. Because already, this might not even be the Book of the Dead. It could be a completely different subject. And I was given another one today. Did I keep the picture of this one? I think I tried to keep this picture on my computer. I haven't got it. Someone else sent me another picture, which is from a Gray and Hancock video. And I will do a video on this. Where he's taken a screenshot, because he's discussing again from Book of the Dead. So something in the air this week. And a new contact has got in touch with me. And he said, please can you have a look at this translation, because Graham Hancock's not really sure of it. He doesn't claim to be able to translate the things. He sent it to the British Museum, and this is what came back, and it looks a bit weird, and it does look weird. It's all to do with blood sacrifices and Baal, the god, and all this. Well, let's say, compared to where those symbols normally appear, I mean, it would seem to be a pretty straightforward instructions for a priest or something like that. So it's sort of... make sure you keep the faith and you keep the secrets and you look after things and you're faithful and dutiful, and it's that kind of thing. So that was very strange as well. So more on that soon, so look out. There's going to be some, I think, work Wilson of Blackett did on translating hieroglyphs is so fundamental and such a powerful message. It's really going to cause massive ripples or even an explosion at some point. And it's had a 30 years run up, and I think the books they write are so big, it's so difficult for people. Hopefully Chiroglyphics being a smaller book and easy to use will speed this up, because you can't just keep ignoring it. This is going to happen. Alright, so there we go. We've done Arthur Stone already. Oh, that's the other name for where Tim Lewis was with Oldbury. Oh yeah, been steadily recording away. People have been asking me about The War King when I was doing the audio book. If you look on the channel and you go through one of the categories, you'll see is War King, and I've been reading my way through the book. And I had read up to chapter 9 or 10 now, I think it is. But I couldn't keep loading them up because there was a gap. I don't know, I lost the files or something. So I've gone back, recorded the missing bit of chapter 5, and now I'm going to start loading them up. And I'm going to do them with illustrations. I'm doing my own sketches. I've done loads of them. Actually, do I know where they are? And I could show a couple of the sketches. Oh, I have to keep you in suspense for that one. I've got a big folder here full of sketches. Just battle scenes and, armies walking around, that kind of stuff. Okay, so don't judge them too harshly, just quick sketches. Alright, now I mentioned, I think already, Tuin a Rodin. Look at this long list of exciting things this week, where I went up there and got soaked. You've seen the video, so that's out of date now. But the person who took me up was Craig Moyle. And one of the things he noticed, if you remember from last week, where he put the picture of the dragon up on the hill, this would be a good picture to have ready, Ross. Well, he's also noticed that where that dragon is, which is up by Buckland, which coincidentally is where Tolkien stayed on his holidays many times and knew the area. So what we're trying to work out is how much of the folklore comes from what Tolkien picked up staying in the area. Because one of the things that Craig knows that area very well. He was pointing out there are some cairns there, and there's some interesting place names like Cadair Fawr, which strictly as the big chair, but apparently it refers to a big fortress that was there. And it seems there's a Cwm Cadlan, which is Valley of the Battle. And if you know the story of The Hobbit, at the end is the Battle of Five Armies at the entrance to the caves. Well, there's an entrance to some caves there. There's a valley called Valley of the Battle. There's a dragon on the top of it. The caves seem to be huge and could refer to the underground city. There's a fortress. Everything, everything would seem to fit with the Hobbit being in that area. And it's crazy because it does look like a dragon as well. So when you start thinking about these things, there's two things blow your mind. One is the Tolkien thing. And who was the person who first noticed, hey, that looks like a dragon. These hills look like a dragon. Because you haven't got a helicopter or anything. It's not obvious from the ground. Maybe they were really good at mapping out. Because one thing we have found is that the guys who did the map making before computers were brilliant. I mean, the stuff they did, you can find it online. I think you have to go to Scottish University, not in the Welsh Library, of course, or the Welsh Museum, or the Welsh universities, where you'd expect to find it. But if you go to University of Scotland, I think you'll find an 1805 map of Wales, which I know Kerry uses, and it's brilliant. And these guys have done this with pencils, and you can see every little detail. With the advantage of computers, we can now zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and you see the tiny inscriptions and stuff. So highly recommended if you want to look at old place names and find some mounds, all that kind of stuff. And what's also interesting to have a look and then tragically see what's not there now. That's kind of a sad thing to do as well. You find an old mound or something and you look on a modern map and it's gone. So is that going on? Sorry, I can't keep up with the chat now because it's oh yeah, I can do it. Oh no, I can't. There's tons of chat. Everyone's just think I'm just background noise. Loads of questions and answers for me. Oh my goodness. Right, okay, let's have a quick pause. Some stiff questions. Uh-oh. All right. Oh, thank you. See, mine aren't. See, I can't get the messages on mine. Isn't that weird? Right, I have to look over there. Excuse my bad neck a second. Right, come on. It's stiff head. Pendle. Yeah, I've got a stiff head. Oh, you mean, what's that place in the Lake District? Okay. Is there a Del in Welsh? D-E-L. Hang on. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do some live research. Alright, look, we'll see my bottom. I'm wearing shorts again. Yeah, I think I'd ever wear shorts again after getting soaked in Merthyr. It's the one I use, British language in its lustre, 1777. I have, disappointedly, I ordered another. I thought I'd found where I could buy the 1688 dictionary, which I really want. And I got sent another one of these. So I got two of these. So someone wants to buy one. So I used to just go straight to Dell. If I had my glasses on, it's a lot easier. Hundreds of glasses, I'm always losing them every 5 minutes. So we've got Deller. There's a... Oh, Deller. It's just wood then. Oh, Dell. Yeah, wood it would be, wouldn't it? Oh, here we go. Dell. Dell can also mean forward, arrogant. Or sullen. Oh. There you go. Interesting what you find when you look up in the old dictionaries. Anyway, say Tim's the man for that. I need to just give you an idea what answers we came up with over there. So look, what else we got? Ancient red dye in Armenia was made from... What does that say? Oh, don't move it. Cochineal. Insects. Coch is red in Welsh. Oh, cochineal is the insect they made the red dye out of, and coch is red in Welsh. Very good. Very good. Who's this? Arthur Bock. I hope I said that correctly. That's very interesting. What else to say? The Cymry connects in ancient times. Google. Right, so what is it? It's saying Google cochineal for more information. Cochineal. This is what I love when I'm learning stuff. I'm not just reading things out. I'm getting asked questions. I don't know the answers, and people are informing. This is why we have a team. This is why it's a group project. So please, everybody, we're doing some other work, and we've had people there who've been working on their own for decades. I am not exaggerating. Decades. They've come forward, have managed to put them in touch with other people with similar interests, and in weeks, they've suddenly advanced more than they had for years. That's the difference it makes sharing information. Don't stay in a cave, all right? Okay, itchy nose again. What's going on? Any more questions?
Yeah, we've got this one,
The Romano British kingdoms. Who's this? Oh, Jarden Jones. Jarden's pushing on. So what do you mean by Romano British then, Jarden? That's the first question, isn't it? Because one of the things Alan Wilson is very keen to point out that the Romans were hardly in, maybe the southeast of England for a while. Hardly in Britain, maybe in Wales 20 years, and not really not very far north. And by the 280s, they're pretty much gone anyway. So I'm not really sure what Romano British is. Although, controversially, the more I look into it, the more I start to think that the Romans and the Cymry are pretty much the same people. I like them onions. It's not a case of Romans invading Welsh or Welsh invading Romans. They're just the same people. Some live there and some live there. So that's a bit controversial, but that needs more work. And I'm out of my depth talking about that necessarily.
I've got a question.
Right, another one here. Go on. Yeah, good idea. I was there. Yeah, David Ryan. If you've got questions, please put them in capitals. They stand out off the rest of the chat. I won't think you're shouting at me. It's okay. And other people are answering already in the captions before I even see them anyway. There we go. Think on Millie Caldwell. Here we are. There we are. Saucy forward, morose, cross, peevish. So I got think on Minnie Caldwell here, which is the person who asked me to do the translation. So it seems to be sticking in anonymous. So unless you want to put your name on, I won't give it away. There we are. How do people set up these anonymous accounts on YouTube? I don't know how to do it. As you have seen with the way I've had my son show me how to set up the live stream. Hey, what? What?
Simple.
Oh, it's simple. Oh, well, there we are. You can show me later, okay? Right, so thank you very much for that. Right, two in a Blethiad. It has been videoed. We've been up there. The Ferocious Warrior. And one question I wanted to ask you people out there, a horrible word. One person I'd like to ask everybody who's watching is, in one of Alan Wilson's talks and his books, he said, Toyna Blethiad, which means ferocious warrior, often confused with Hercules. Now, does that imply that Blethiad is not the star mound for Hercules? Or is it that Blethiad is another name for Hercules? I'm asking, not as a quiz question. This is, I'd like to know. And I'm not sure. Sean Morgan, hope you joined us, love. Thank you very much again. It was fantastic. And your poem about the Twain Tudor that you invited us over to have a look at. I loved going up there. I loved your poem. The video is just about done and it will go up this week. Like I said, nothing's gone up the last couple of weeks because of my family issues. But now we're getting back towards, well, the new abnormal, I think the term, isn't it? Right, let's have a look here now. I've got some other bits and pieces, more good stuff. Yep, right, back to screen share. I can do it. Have I done it right? Yes. Did anyone else see this story? A couple of people have posted this on our Facebook group. And I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly who was the last person. I wrote it down. Owain was one of them who brought it to my attention. Owain Rogers, I think it is. This will be very interesting. This idea that there's a 1,500-year-old Bible. And it says in there that Jesus wasn't crucified, apparently. I would like to have a real proper look at this. And how it's written and all that kind of thing. But modern news, very hard to get details, isn't it? You all get sort of, an overview. And right. After this, I'm going back to Tim Lewis. Stop jumping around, Ross. I should rehearse, really, shouldn't I? Be more professional. But there we are. I'll do it slowly so people can pause this and have a read later. Or just find the link. But the crucial thing about this Bible, as with other Bibles that have been found, this is not that new a story, really. This Bible might be. But if you look at there's lots of Bibles. In the old Bibles, there is no mention of the miracles, particularly, or the resurrection. Or even the virgin birth. And it would seem that maybe that was added later. Now, I know that's... I'm just raising historical things. As I say, truth does not force out faith, is what a saying I heard the other day, and I like that. Because if if indeed, as in the new book, quick plug for the new book that's coming out, if Jesus did indeed not die on the cross, but came physically to Wales, as it seems to show in the records, and is physical evidence for, along with Joseph of Arimathea, possibly Mary, his mother, and what would seem to be his sister, Anna, and various other family members came and started preaching Christianity in Wales. And to me, it's always seemed a bit strange if this is true, and it would seem there's more than likely that is. Christianity still began in that area and spread very broadly, and so those details, which are not in some of these old Bibles, don't seem to be the key thing about the faith. The key thing would seem to be the message being the key, not the messenger so much. So as you know, the book's coming out soon. I've now got a title for the book. For months I've been asking people, can you give me a good name for this book? Thought a great church hoax, and in Britain's green and pleasant land, like the trade-off on the, Jerusalem. But anyway, okay, so that's an interesting one there. I know it gets people commenting and gets people a bit angry, but please don't let truth or lack of truth change or influence you, get in the way of your faith, or the other way around. Just get faith get in the way of truth. If you want to find the true message, find it. There's still room for faith as well. Okay, here we go. We need more research on St. Peter's from Dawn. Yeah, I took more video of those stones for you, Dawn, which I will put up or send through to you. Oh, can you talk about the Colburn language, please? Wellville. Thank you, Wellville. Next project, as soon as we got this one, as soon as these next couple of books out, is going to be a book dedicated to Colburn, and I am going to do some videos on it in the meantime, because I've started doing, finally it started as a hobby, if you like, looking at how it works, and it does seem, it's not that difficult. Not that difficult, really. It's like, it's clever, not difficult. I mean, it's not quite as easy as what I would say hieroglyphs are. I mean, hieroglyphs, if you speak Welsh, you just look at it, just say the words, and you're reading it. You don't even need to learn to read and write in the modern sense. Colburn is a little bit more clever. And the dots and counting how many letters and stuff like that, it is more of a code. But yes, I will do. I'll need to do some notes. I'll give some background. Might be what Wellville is asking for in the question. At some point, this is developed from a pictorial language into a written language. And the evidence for it is what really led Wilson of Blackett all the way back to ancient Egypt. Because they look at the Welsh records, they were understanding them. A lot of them were written in the old Welsh Colville. I've combined Wellville with Colburn here. Colburn. And if you look at people like Llewellyn Sion, back in 1520s, he actually wrote down a cipher saying this is an A, this is a B, this is a C, this is a D, and you can read it, and that makes it a lot easier. There is a couple more tricks you have to know. Because what seemed to happen ever since the time of, Edward II, definitely, you could argue before then, the Welsh language has been persecuted, particularly the writing. It used to be an offence to have even a pen or parchment in Wales. And then in 1475-6, Caxton introduced printing to London. And it was another almost 300 years before anything could be printed in Welsh. And even then it was only Bibles. So the language is pretty much crushed, because even old manuscripts, those that don't decay naturally, have to be copied. Which is where we get onto the story of Iolo Morgannwg, who's much maligned for actually taking the trouble to go around finding the records and copying them. And also you'll find deliberate destruction, like people like Scholarius proudly showed off how many Welsh written books. I call it the devil's work, because what would sometimes happen is Welsh lords and princes would get captured, taken to the Tower of London. They'd ask for their library, so they have something to read while they're there, do some learning, and then this monk came along and burnt loads. So anyway, so going backwards, and this is where we get some of the trail for the Jesus in Wales story, and reasons for thinking that might be true. You can then follow it all the way back along the migration routes, and you will see stela, the big stones with the language going across the Mediterranean, and then you'll see them again in Anatolia. And before that then, of course, you're talking about how this might then, this is what I'd like to look more closely at, how this links in with hieroglyphs, or I think it might look in with cuneiform. I'd love to have a crack at that. Because the problem is, it's not one of these subjects you think it sounds incredibly intellectual and challenging. Oh, how could you read ancient Assyrian cuneiform? People used to read it. Regular Joes used to read it. Children were presumably taught it at school. It only seems incredibly complicated because the people telling us they can read it can't, all right? They can't read hieroglyphs. They come up with these more and more convoluted explanations, and you need 3-year degrees. You watch, what's his name, Irving Finkel on his lectures, Royal Institution. Go watch them. Oh, you need to study for 30, 40 years before you can understand this written language. What use is that? You send your 5-year-old child into school to become a scribe, and they're 45 years old before they start work. And even then, they're guessing. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If it's a written and writing language, go on to read and write it. As my dad used to say to me when I was struggling with my French homework, he said, it can't be that difficult. There's 4-year-olds speaking it in France. You know, not much sympathy, but it's the same thing. Hieroglyphs, cuneiform, always can't be that difficult because presumably children could read them, all right? So don't be put off by the dusty look of it and beardy professors like that showing off with their posh accents, trying to intimidate everybody with how difficult things are. They can't be. They can't be. They're just doing it wrong. All right? There you are. Rant over. Go on, another question. What have we got?
You've got tons of them.
Tons of questions. Oh, no. And I tell you what happened last week. The live chat thing didn't appear on the final video. So I've got to find out. Well, I'll ask my 9-year-old son how to keep the chats on the YouTube videos. And I'll report back and hopefully fix it. Go on. What do you say? Alan always says, yeah, the language is the key. Exactly, yeah. If you're given something in Russian Cyrillic script and someone says, there we go, translate that, here's a French dictionary, you know, it's going to be a struggle, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes.
Your live translation sometime will be awesome.
A live translation, yeah. What do you want? Which language? Go on. Hieroglyphs are dead easy. I was going to do it in a minute, actually. Let's just do it now. Come on. I wasn't going to do this, but I will. Right, here's an example, okay? This is the Ben stone, apparently. Very famous. Cairo Museum. And I don't know why. So many things come in vogue, don't they? It's all right. So, quick translation here. Hang on. Here's a copy of Maya. Well, they say self-praise is no recommendation, but there's the book anyway, okay? Now, what you're doing there, you've got all the symbols in a double-page spread at the back. Oh, I was going to do some writing. Got my camera set up there.
How do you see you, Daddy?
Yeah, it's tiny, isn't it? Oh, how do you see me? Oh, yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. Anyway, what are you doing? You look up the symbols, all right? It's that easy. And they all mean something. Honestly, my boys can do it, all right? So here we are. We got the wings. And this is it's usually a hawk that's depicted here. And you got hawk, it's hebog, so you get hebod, which I think is the guide. So to guide you through. The eyes watching over. And you got tree rowel. That's what you do is 3 spades. So you look at spades, look at 3 spades, tree rowel. I think it's the passage through. I'd slow the program up if I looked up everything. Now what Hugh Evans, who's getting very good at this, spotted something I missed, is that you usually start the sentence the direction the animals are pointing. So this left-hand part is reading that way, but this bit's reading the other way. That's curious. And I won't stay too long on this because it's not really a hieroglyphics video today. But anyway, this is a good one because you got the gwyd. Gwyd is the goose. And Ra, because you got Rael is the sun. So Ra Gwyd. And Ra Gwyd is Welsh for Lord. So you got the Lord. And then the cartouche, you got someone's name. That's a bit bashed up. I can't quite read it. Something to do with duty, because there's an owl. That's a bit bashed up there. And this is to weigh. And that's the life sign, which I think most people recognise that. Ankh or Onk. So weigh your life. And then the snake, you are not of. And that'll be not you of this earth. That means you're immortal. So there you go. We go the other way. Yeah.
They want cauldron.
You want cauldron, right? Okay, I'll prepare cauldron for next week. All right, everyone's bored of hieroglyphics. It's a good.
Say they are hieroglyphs. I wasn't too bad.
Well, yeah, no, it's all right. I can understand. They know. If you get me on this, Hours could go by, weeks, days, and I'll still be... One of the problems I find, not a lot of it's very exciting on what they actually wrote, but there you go. Not as exciting as the translations they invented in the 19th century. They're brilliant. Right, where's my pen? Yeah. Right, so Toyn Tudor. Good news was, going through, of course, Wilson and Black, we couldn't work out who Tudor was, various ideas, and because the name Tudor is associated with the Tudors, the Henrys and all that. Well, more specifically, Henry the 7th, 8th, and Elizabeth, and all that bunch. The Welsh royal family, if they were Welsh at all. But Tudor is also an old Welsh name, Tudor. And if you dig into Alan Wilson and Blackett books like Ark of the Covenant, you'll find which Tudor it is. So I'll put it all on the video and you can see exactly who the Tudor is, what the mound looks like. Fantastic views. It's stunning. And what was remarkable, Sian... spends a lot of time up there, almost every day, just enjoying it and thinking it and absorbing it. And some of the stuff she told me, she just sort of, I don't know, was it imagined or dreamed or just perceived? When I looked at the history, it was actually very close and spot on. It's a little bit weird when that happens. And she's pointing, they went this way in the summer for their big festival, all get together. And all the people would get together and they'd do their thing up there. Well, we worked out where she's pointing, yeah, that does seem to be where they went. And there's a whole lot of other things. So that was a little bit strange, a sort of booky academic type like me. Suddenly you got some sort of person with this sort of, I don't know, perceptive skill or I don't know, things I've always been sceptical about, and I'm having to eat my words on a regular basis. Okay, oh yeah, I've got a quiz for next week, haven't we? Hang on, let's just make sure I missed... Right, I'm going to try an experiment, so I'm going to need my able producer here to jump in and say he can see this. Oop.
So I can see you.
You can see me, yeah, okay. You'll make sense what I just said in a second. Because Tim also... Come on, how to get out of this back to his... he did a video. Come on, where's your video? I'm trying an experiment now, okay? Let's put this on screen. I'm going to hope that you can see Tim's video, because you get bored of my voice all the time. People can send videos in. Yes, please, all right?
Harts Hill Hayes. It's a lovely sunny day.
I'll put the microphone there.
We're at the top of Harts Hill Hayes in a place called Oldbury, which is
it's paused. It's lagging.
You didn't hear it.
You could do it.
Yeah, we could do it.
It's lagging. Alright, I'll put Tim's video up separately. It's a shame because it's lovely what he did. What really, on volunteers now, okay, I'm serious here. Can't just be me talking all the time. I was never the idea. It's Britain's Hidden History group. The whole project's a group thing. The main body of work is Wilson and Blackett. There's other people. There's the Velikovskis and the Fomenkos and there's tons. Obviously, Chris Barber. There's loads and loads more. Mostly Wilson and Blackett, I admit, as the roots, because they discovered so much, let's be honest. And they covered such a wide area. There's got to be other people talking, all right? So if you want to send videos in, I've had a couple this week. Great. I'm going to make them work in the broadcast. I'll work on that, or I'll put them up as separate videos. More on that, please. More contact. And oh, yeah, that was the other one. I can't go up to see Wilson and Blackett just yet because of the lockdown and Alan's old and all that kind of thing. The computer's ready next week. I do want to go up the next couple of weeks. I'm pushing now to go as soon as possible. And I'll try and record some more chat with the great men themselves. Also, please, I'm getting volunteers to come on and talk about something on next week's live stream. All right? Not going to be very long or complicated. But I feel spoilt because all week people are ringing me and contacting me. And some of the stuff people know, I am always amazed. People who spent decades, far longer than I have, looking at this stuff and working in isolation and suddenly discover what's going on. They see the channel or the Facebook group or something, or someone tells them, and they're so excited. You know, it's a case of I say hello and then 3 hours later I say, wow. That's the way the conversations. So there's a lot of people can talk about this, and I start bending arms and getting people on by hook or by crook, all right? And also, if you know anyone interested, please spread the word. It's only by The only way we're going to achieve anything here, my objective, I'm not political, I'm not a member of anything, I'm not a member of any organisations, nothing, all right? Apart from my local church, okay? None of this is good. The only thing I want to do is to raise awareness amongst enough people in Britain, or around the world, really, just to have this history put back on the table. Like I was saying with my mum, when I'm watching her dying for the last few years, and all you think about is this sick old person, it's horrible. It's really horrible. It's heartbreaking, stressful. And you have to remember that earlier glory, and it shouldn't be forgotten. You know, I'm a lot happier about the memory of my mother now, and it's the same with your country. It brings back pride, and also, why not? It's our history. It's our history. You know, I know if you don't know your past, you don't know your future, do you? Anyway, there we go. Try not to rant on that, but please, let's try and get to 1,000 subs on the YouTube channel. That'll make a big difference. That opens things up. What? Who's Cadw? C-A-D-W. Conceal and destroy whales. Oh no, sorry, it's the old Welsh word. Hey, I tell you what, do you look at what Cadw means? Here's a funny one for you. Someone just asked, well, no, they didn't ask that. Someone actually put something rude about Cadw, but thank you very much. Listen to this, right? Let's look up Cadw, one of my favourite words. Someone's having a laugh at us somewhere. Have anyone ever looked up in an old dictionary what Cadw means? Yay? Yay? Cad, right? Cad is a war, a battle, or a fight, okay? Cader is a chair, alright? We've got all these different things. We got Cadnow is a fax. Cadw, right? Is to keep or to secure, right? So I think that's the official definition. But I think if you get up... it's not in this one. One of the old dictionaries, it's also to keep secret. Which I find quite amusing. Keep things secret.
You've got a few options.
Oh, right, here we go. What we got? What else we got? Come here.
I think we lost them already.
Oh, Bosnia. What's that about, Bosnia? Come on, producer. You got to keep on top of this. It's a busy night. It's good to see it. Right, what time is it already? Oh my goodness, 5 to 9. We haven't got on to things. Right, I've got a quiz question for next week, all right? Quiz question. Everyone concentrating. I'll put it in the comments as well. This was a quiz question, and it was answered by Richard Evans. I think he's had 2 or 3 mentions tonight. Richard Evans from North Wales. Talks like this a bit. He's great. He's fantastic, right? And he was pondering to himself, what does the word Eisteddfod mean? I don't want anyone put in the normal translation. Eisteddf is to sit, vod, I don't know, together or something. It doesn't really translate very well. But the official Eisteddfod translation is we all sit down or something like that, right? Well, if you've been to an Eisteddfod, you don't do a lot of sitting. And it seems a little bit... His thinking was that it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right, okay? Another word he had, which as it turns out, he didn't realise this when he started, is tabernacle. Alright? So Eisteddfod, I'll spell it, E-I-S-T... This is why I have my thing rigged up. Can I do the 2? Hang on, let's go back to me. Sorry, Tim, couldn't do your video. I'm going to try... Oh my goodness, there's so much technology could go wrong in one go. Oh, bear with me, alright? Bear with me if this all goes wrong.
I'll tell you what it looks like.
Alright, you tell me. Can you read this? Because people say I can't understand these long Welsh words. Well, that's weird. Why is there that in the corner? Oh, well, you can just have a seat up in the corner, okay? It's supposed to be me plus this. So there's Eisteddfod, my bestest handwriting. Eisteddfod. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. Neil said I'm off the camera, only a little bit. Alright. Alright, hopefully that'll come rolling onto the screen. Eisteddfod.
There you go.
Okay, so the classic translation is you split the word there. Eisteddf, to sit. I'm not a Welsh speaker, okay? Alright, so I'm not clear doing vod, whatever that was, okay? What Richard did was split the word. So I'm going to give you a clue, alright? You split the word there instead. And see how that gets you. Or you can go for Eistead. See where that gets you. All right, there's a challenge for you, and I will reveal it next week. Because with the help of always Tim Lewis, who's very clever at these things, I don't think I chipped anything in. Oh, I did. Yeah, a little contribution. Like gave him Tim's email address. That was my contribution. So you got Eisteddfod, and then Tabernacle. Seems to be a Welsh word as well. Why is Leon laughing at me? What's going on?
I'm laughing at you.
You laugh at the comments? Oh, good. It's Leon, Wellville, not Arnie. Oh, yeah, it's Leon this week, not Arnie. Oh, that's really cheered him up. It's not his big brother this week, it's him there. So, tabernacle, all right? What does that mean? It's got a Welsh translation. Which does bring me on to... I've got to get this shared cameras working, Leon.
Simple.
Oh, he says it's simple.
You should use Arnie that doesn't know how to do it, kind of.
Ross writing. That's what it should be like that. It should be like that, look.
What happened? Just changed.
There we go. That's what it should be like. That's better. All right, okay. We're running out of time, unfortunately, because it's almost 9 o'clock. Where'd the time go? It was so exciting this week. I had so much news. Hang on. Let's make sure I cover all the news before I go on my last little bit. Yeah, so the challenge for next week, all right? What does Eisteddfod mean? What is tabernacle? The roots. Okay. I was going to do meanings of words. I'll just do a couple then, just to give you a flavour. Maybe do it another time, another video during the week. Was, for example, this is we've done some Egyptian already, so I don't overdo it anyway. But I just want to give you, I'll just do one fun one. First of all, is Pharaoh. With this weird spelling. I always spell it wrongly. Until recently, with AO and all that kind of stuff. Oh, well, yeah, bang on the camera. Well done. Pharaoh, which means he with high powers in Welsh. So you have... the Cymric, and let's make sure I get it right. Could explain the weird spelling. What are you laughing at now? You're not laughing at anything. You're just happy to be alive. That's nice, isn't it? Pharaon is a Welsh word, right? He of high powers. I want to do a whole thing on this. Tutankhamun. I'll just do one more. Because we all know my favourite Egyptian name, Nefertiti. Alright. This is weird, I got a lag and all sorts. Alright, so Nefer is Welsh for heaven. T is you are. So heavenly you are, you are. And if you say something twice, it's doi, in doi tree, 1, 2, 3. Doi sounds like do, which is God. So heavenly God, or God of heaven. Wonderful, isn't it? Anyways, loads more of those, but there we are. Not everyone shares my enthusiasm for Egyptian words. But going back to the question, it was asked by Colville, like, I don't know, 4 hours ago, 6 weeks, 2 lifetimes ago. The reason why... Hang on, can I do the technology? See, all the buttons are going to go to you next time, alright? I don't press any buttons. I know I should have done it. I need to set the keyboard over there. Anyway, is that by being able to trace the Welsh language through all these places back to Egypt, then surely... It can't get you by magic, this language. It traces the migration of the Welsh people. I think you probably knew that already. And... Got one last comment before we go? It's never long enough, mates. What are you trying to say, Chris? Oh, hang on a second. What's that? Oh, Eddisford Bridge is the dead centre of... thank you, Dawn. It's Eddisford Bridge, the dead centre. We did... Maybe you saw the video a few weeks ago. This thing about quarters. You know, the old Chaldean 4 quarters. Yeah, the southwest, you got your yeomen, your farmers. Like in England, it's Devon. In Wales, it's Dyfed. In Ireland, it's Derry and all those places. In Scotland, it's Ayr and all those places. In southeast, you got the capitals and the big cities. London, Glasgow, well, Edinburgh more. Cardiff, Dublin. And northwest, you got your spiritual centres. So I got Gwynedd, northwest, Ireland. Oh no, I'm struggling. Lost one. Damn. So no, Leinster's in the other one, isn't it? Anyway, you get the idea. So the centre, you always get this 5th county, like Meath in Ireland, and there's a Welsh one. And I was asking, can you find me the dead centre of England and Scotland? So thank you for that one, Dawn. If that's right, we'll have to have a check. Okay. Nikki Griffiths, watch Nigel Sandford's Synatics. Come on, tell us a little bit more, Nikki. So next time, right, I'm gonna open the phone up. And I haven't going to do it exactly, but I might get another phone with a different number just so people can ring on it and on speakerphone, by the microphone, that's it, right? Low-tech solution. That's the kind of solutions I can do. All right, no. Leon is saying that I should have Zoom and split screen and all sorts of stuff. And make it live, yeah? And record it, yeah, all that. All right. Maybe I'll have a practice. Perhaps that's our homework for this week.
Yeah, that'd be fun, instead of maths.
Instead of maths, we're going to have set Daddy up with a studio. Because we're building a new shed as well. And, of course, the order's already in from the boys. It's got to be painted green. Green ceiling, green walls, green floor. So we can just green screen in there, you know. So there we are. It's good fun. Have a go. Please. Any sort of videos, don't mind if they're brilliant, rubbish, whatever. Let's get more voices in here. Let's make this a collective, okay? Because as much as I enjoy doing this, I'm sure we have a good time every week. More people's good, yeah? I don't guess. Well done, Leon. Yeah, Leon's stealing the show. Here we go. What's that say? Ross, Leon. Oh, yeah, can I say... Go on, we're just going to run over slightly. Go on. Who's going to kick us off anyway? Dawn's mentioned Bellinus then. Now, funny enough, Bellinus has come up a couple of weeks this time. Couple of times this week. Because for some reason, is it funny how things go in little trends? Have you noticed if you do Facebook or any sort of social media, strange term, that there's this talk has been pushing around about how the Cymry, or Cymbury with a B, Cymry, invaded or sacked Rome 200 BC or earlier, okay? And there seems to be this mysterious people floating around the Denmark area. And it's come up in a few different places I've seen it. Same story. They do the rounds, don't they? Well, just mentioning Bellinus there made me think. Because if you go to your Welsh history and you look at Bellinus, you'll find there's a remarkably similar story in British history. Near 400 BC, where him and his two sons, they went and basically did that. They attacked Gaul first of all, because one son went to Gaul and they caught up with him. They all made friends, made a really big army, went and smashed up the Romans. So there we are, seemed a good thing to do. And they walked out with a lot of money. And I think that's where their saying to the victor the spoils comes from, as far back as that. Because the story goes that they agreed a settlement that for a certain payment in gold, they'd leave the Romans alone. And then as the scales would be imbalanced, they're chucking all this gold on, and here's the weight. Just the Romans like, we've paid off our debt. Their Bellinus, or one of his sons more likely, got his sword and just pushed it down on the weight side again. So they had to put some more gold on, and basically, what are you going to do about it? So that, apparently, to the victor of the spoils, said to the victor of the spoils, very ancient saying.
Question.
Oh, one more question, quick before we go. Why didn't they smash up the Vandals too? Didn't who smash up the Vandals? Isn't the Vandals the ones who... Oh, do you mean the Vandals smash up Rome? Because in the story up from Wilson and Blackett's, they come down through Rome, isn't it? Then the Vandals trot over from southern Italy into North Africa and effectively become the Carthaginians for a while and occupy Carthage. Because it's much later than the original Carthaginians, who the Romans already destroyed before that. Nice bunch, weren't they? So they're talking around about the 500s, a little bit around about that era, slightly later. And that's when the Romans, then the Byzantium Empire, was supposed to come across, and the Vandals were sent a dummy, and they gone off attacking, I think it was Corsica, wasn't it? The army was away. So the Romans nipped in and beat up the old men and children, and did the usual slaughter and carnage, and chased them out. And the fleet came back to pick up the fleeing people, and took them through the gates of Gibraltar up to Ireland. And they're the ones who had the bull on their shields, wasn't it? So you get the Turch, the story of the wild boar chase. So King Arthur then takes his army to defend his lands in Ireland, because people always forget that the Welsh and British had chunks of Ireland they owned. It wasn't just the other way. And to track down and defeat the Vandals, who then sidestepped him somewhere, presumably in the Irish Sea, and started ransacking through Wales, which is why you have this story of this supposedly enormous boar that can destroy whole villages. Whereas in reality, of course, it was an army. And the little piglets they were trying to catch would seem to be the lesser nobles of the Vandals. And then you follow them up to, finally, sort of West Midlands, Northwest, what became known as Mercia. And the Mercians would be the Vandals. And you might think this sounds a bit crazy. Except all the dates fit, and the other thing that fits, which is remarkable, 2 other things which are more verifiable. One, you can see the names of the Vandal kings, and they all seem to root back to Vandal source words. So that's one. And the second one, of course, is the fact that the Angles and Saxons couldn't seem able to speak or deal with the Mercians. And Bede even complains that the Welsh were he reproached them for not having spent more time trying to convert the Mercians to Christianity. Well, if they were Germanic, why weren't the Angles and Saxons doing it? And it does seem that while the Welsh hated the Angles and Saxons and would never ally with them, in any terms, they'd fight and fight and fight to the death, they did ally with the Mercians, and there's some famous battles with the British and Mercians, or Welsh and Mercians, fighting side by side against Saxons and Angle armies. So there you go. So, not sure how the Vandals fit in exactly. He set me off running then, didn't he? Right, there's a boar stone at Ribchester with the word Rex on this.
And there's that one.
I think the Romans are there. Why is it always the Romans, Dawn? I'm just teasing. Can you send me the picture, please, or post it on our Facebook group? I think you're still a member, so I'd be interested to see. Everything's Roman. Everything's... And I finished there, just that one story, which you've probably seen, but I love it anyway.
There's another
Oh,
question.
go on. What question was it?
This one.
No, that's not a question, was it? What's that walking group? Hey? Oh, yeah, we did set up a group on WhatsApp, didn't we? So people could get together for walks. Yeah, we'll have to revisit that, because there was only a few on it, and it was great. And we had lots of walks. It was good. Yeah, let's get that going. Let's try and organise something during the week. If people got suggestions, please email or put it on what's on the Facebook group. And we could do have some group walks. The summer's here. This is the time to go. Well, this is the best time for like nice weather. The best time to see things is actually the winter, because all the greenery's died back. And dieback is not just a Welsh warrior, you know. It's quite a problem. So it means you can see better. Anyway, the story Alan Wilson does. I'm going to try an Alan Wilson impression now, because I'm going to record this, by the way, and I'm going to cut the DVD and send it to Alan so he can see things are going on, all right? And, so, you know, he never smiles, does he, you know? Even though he's the funniest man on the planet. So, have you seen the video? It's a very old one from the 1980s. I think it's probably filmed by Lee Pennington. Hello, Lee. If you're watching, he's wonderful. Still going strong. Flying the flag over in Kentucky in America. Rings the bell every day during the lockdown. Him and his wife. It's wonderful. I always watch the poems. Always watch the bell ringing. Very uplifting. Highly recommended. So look out for that if you can find it, okay? So Alan will sitting there and he's like, right, I'm in Caerleon here, he says. And he's gone through the style of the stonework, and it's like a herringbone stonework. And it's a style that's only found in Wales and western parts of England. And nowhere else in the Roman Empire. So why is it assumed that Caerleon Amphitheatre is Roman? Well, I'll tell you how it works now. I'm a Welsh, right? And I sit here, and I get this stone, and I put it on the ground like that. I put a stone on the ground, and then I get another stone, and I put it on top of the fair stone. Now it's a Roman wall. I can't keep a straight face like Alan does. But that's these. Go there, I'll cry right. It's your bedtime. You're just dragged out now, aren't you?
What's your email?
Right, yeah. You can always email me at Ross, ROSS, at. As a couple you can use. You can go Britain. Oh, let's go with these. The one I use the most probably is Cymroglyphics. Plugs the book, see, doesn't it? So Cymro, CYMRO, glyphics.com. Ross at Cymroglyphics.com. That's probably a good one. If you can't remember that, Ross at BritiansHiddenHistory, all one word, .co.uk. All right, everybody. And he just died to go to bed. I can see you're tired, Leon. It's bedtime, isn't it? Oh, poor thing. I've got to stop the show because Leon wants to go to bed now.
I don't want to.
I'm sorry, everyone. It's Leon. Leon just can't wait to go to bed. All right, I'm going to go anything else before we go any further. Oh, yeah, look out for the new book regarding the old Christianity. Last chance to get pre-orders in for Trojan War. I was going to say what happened with that one. There was a slight delay. Hang on, let's put me back on screen again. Just to show, we're now up to, I think it's 7 pages of index, and of course I changed the chapter, which mixed all the pages up. I had to do it again, and blah, 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 blah. So sorry for the delays, but it'll look nice, hopefully, okay? Comments popping up my screen. Right, okay. Please carry on chatting on the... Hang on, I was going to look, see if I did have other things ready to show people. No, I think that's it. Let's just check. Oh, yeah. Oh, I keep another false ending. It's like watching that dreadful last episode of Star Wars. Yeah. When you keep thinking at the ending. You're like, thank goodness I can go home now. And there's another ending. I got to zoom out again now. Leon, you messed this up for me, yeah?
You can zoom out. Press the minus button.
All right. I'll get the hang of it eventually. I just want to say a little thing on the new book. And I'll go back to screen sharing, I think. It's all gone dark here now. So funny is, the darker it gets, the better you can see me. How weird's that? I can hardly see a thing now. So, this, I won't give the person's real name, as he likes to keep very private, but if you look for Good Grandy, and if you look for Good Grandy's, he has a blog. I've spoken to him at great length. He's absolutely wonderful. A spiritual person who has spent years and years walking around, mostly West Wales, following what he calls the dragon, which is a sort of... I can't do it justice, and I don't want to mock it. It's wonderful. Apologies for the way I describe it, okay? It's similar to ley lines in that there's an energy that you can feel in this area, and it forms a sort of dragon which drapes itself around West Wales. And he's just let the energy of this lead him. And then he's mapped it down afterwards. And the trail he's found is absolutely stunning. It's amazing. It's another one of these ones, right? I am Mr. down the road. It's in a book. I like letters and words and numbers. And as you see, pretty hopeless at everything else. And I've never gone for this kind of... Like I didn't go for star mounds being maps of the stars. But the more you look into it, so much of this you really can't explain. And I think to misquote Arthur Conan Doyle and his Sherlock Holmes character, when you've eliminated all the possibles, you have to start looking at the impossibles. So, I don't know anymore, folks. But anyway, the reason I mention it is part of, well, the most controversial part of the new book, really. Alan's dropped hints before about where Jesus is buried if he were in Wales. And this is also the place where Alan Wilson spent a lot of his childhood, having been evacuated there in the war, and because he has lots of family in that area, still to this day. So, these are some pictures. Go full screen, please. Why are you going full screen now? Alright, hang on. All my clever clogs children tell me what to do. I am going to work it out myself. Thank you. Got to keep some pride, haven't you? Let them know who's boss. One word from me, do whatever they like, I know. Right, so there's some shots I thought I'd like to share from the area of Cwmdewi, out in West Wales, near Dinas Cross. Isn't it beautiful, eh? Look at this, fantastic. Wonderful photographs. He's a really good photographer. And very kindly, he's let me have permission to put some in the new Wilson and Blackett book. So, stunning. What at that for a coastline. What a place. So then, of course, the joke in our house is that I wanted to go for, I thought it'd be great, all the hustle and bustle of day-to-day life. We'll book ourselves a week's holidays, a guest house down Dinas Cross, right, on this island, middle of nowhere. We won't see anybody for a week. It'll be great. And then what happens? Lockdown comes along, and you don't see anybody for months. So the one holiday we really don't want at the end of lockdown is to go to a place where you can't see or talk to anybody. So go to a busy city, go to a baseball game, anything. Anyway, it's quite funny. Well, I thought it was funny anyway. Don't know why that's on there. It's a bit ugly. Oh, perhaps that. Oh, I shouldn't say things, should I? Because I don't know. It could be where one of Alan Wilson's family lives, perhaps. That is the house, perhaps. What's it say in the bottom corner? Can you read it? Oh, I think if you can zoom in, if you can work it out, I think that's the name of his blog. I do apologise. I should promote it. To be honest, he's not one of these people who's looking for millions of views. He puts it up there and he tells people and you can go and have a look, He's really cool. He's cool, man. Not into material things at all, and I have total respect. So we go. There's beautiful waters there and everything. Fantastic. So we're going to pick somewhere on Earth. if you had the choice of everywhere, it's not a bad spot, is it? I think... Ooh, I'll not say anything because I get mixed up. If I was guessing, I would say that's where the island meets the mainland. But there we are. These are standing stones in Tumulus. Is that the burial site of Jesus? There we are. Just drop that in at the end of the presentation. Just a little thing. And it'll all be in the book with details. And that's... and I'm pretty sure that's the farm called... Oh, here we are. Now everyone at home is reading these things. I'd say, Ross, it's on the screen. Look, you're so stupid sometimes. Yeah, that's Cumdewi Farmhouse. I recognise that. All right. Cummer Eglwys. Now, for those who don't know, Eglwys is church. It's a valley of the church. Yeah, this is the area. I thought it was. All right, Needle Rock, Dinas Islands. Thank you, thank you. The Prezels were hidden in the mists, so photo enhancers show the alignment. Needle Rock. Oh, there we go. So he's got Astronomer, which is what he's into. Just lining up the stones and mounds and seeing what the astronomical significance are. Something we do a lot in this group. You know, the fact that Garth, you know, is it pointing to Orion, and is it actually an astronomer? Astronomer? What do they call them? Observatory, thank you. My head is wrong way around. Observatory. We can follow the moon path and the sun path and the planets, and you can work out dates and stuff from it. And of course, the thing is, if you're lining 2 points up to look for somewhere in the night sky, if it is far apart, your margin of error is pretty high. The further apart you get them, the more accurate it is. If you can put the two things 20, 30 miles apart, you know, you could be a few feet out. It doesn't make any difference. If you're looking at it, you're going to be seeing almost spot on. So that's why they're so big and the distances are so vast, all right? Well, that's what we imagine anyway. So there's well in prehistory, the same monumentary alignment from the wonderful Cerrig Gorff. See, Gorff is caves, I think. So indeed, one of the, can't read, stones mirrors the shape of Needle Rock. It is like the many prehistoric constructs seasonally aim at Needle Rock. And this is where Mr. Grady, is it Grady or Grandy? Sorry, I have slightly different ideas on this. I tend to think it's all a lot more recent. I think all of this, possibly, or Pentra Evan, a lot of this was done as maybe 1500 BC, but I'm thinking a lot more recent than that. These were done, the stones and the mounds and things. Oh, there we go. Very hard to know, isn't it? I don't go for the massive prehistory. It's just a personal hunch. I can't really. I think going on Velikovsky's work and looking at shifting ice caps and things that hardly anyone, if anybody, lived in Britain much before 1800 BC. Maybe a few thousand years before that, but there was a sort of a frozen era where Britain was frozen up and you wouldn't have lived here. You'd have moved further south and then possibly moved back again. Hey, maybe that's the idea. Maybe all started up here. As the poles shifted, and we got to move south, maybe as far as Egypt. And as the pole retreated and Britain became habitable again, we will tootle back north. Who knows, eh? Oh, well, I can't see what that was now. Oh, the Old Sailors. Oh, my goodness, is that the pub? That's the Old Sailors pub. Okay. Pulthquailod Beach, Ben Dinas looking towards Fishguard and Goodwick Caves below there. So there we go, a couple of little bonus pictures. Just to let you know, all the text is done for that book. Or it's a matter now of putting the photos in. I want to jam it with lots of pictures, I think would be good. And do we do an index and putting all the references properly? My lot in life, it seems. Tidying up after Mr. Wilson and Blackett. Anyway, I wouldn't want it any other way, and I absolutely love it. So, where am I? It's completely dark in here. Please be the one. I will now, with the dulcet tones of Mr. Blackett, I will try and find the music. Where's the music gone? Any more questions there? No? Good. I mean, not good.
It's a disc. There's a disc on the screen.
It's not a disc.
It is. It's right
Oh,
there.
that. Oh, okay. All right. Smarty pants.
What? But it's there.
The job of producer is to make me look good, all right? Not make me look bad. You got that?
Oh, last time I should. Okay, I should be on the keyboard then.
Okay, just let him do the whole thing then. All right. Fair enough. Oh, whoa. Just a bit rock and roll on this one. time. Sorry, everyone. If you had earphones on, I do apologise. I know I almost deafened Arnie last week. Okay, despite the protests of my producer and most of the people, it is time to go to bed, and I shall leave it running to get on the capture. I hope you enjoyed that. I got so much stuff I never even got to, so next week's going to be ramajammed, and I will try and faster. To the point. I know, I'm 25 minutes over. I didn't cover it. 23 minutes over, didn't cover anything, so everything. Good fun, isn't it? Look, Alan Wilson, we've seen nothing yet. Should we get stuck into the controversial stuff next week? What do you reckon, folks? Come on. Let's see on the comments what people want to go for. There's always something that all goes crazy. The way to get the most hits and everything is to put what you call it there, the Christian stuff up and all that. But I mean, it's not a bit bonkers, isn't it? Yeah, people saying goodbye. Good. That's not just my music empties the room. Alright then, so good night from me, Nostalgie. Pub look. That's rubbish Welsh. Good luck to everyone. Edwch, which is peace. Edwch.
There's a guy and a girl driving down the highway, you can tell. Even in the misty rain.
It's not working, is it? It's not meant to be that way, okay? That's not my fault. Oh, why you see my hand in the mouse? How cool is that? Okay, good night everyone. Enjoy the funky psychedelic prog rock sound of Beckett. On sale through the website. Oh yeah, support us, Patreon, all that kind of thing. Click like, what was it? Slap that bell.
Well, we scream up and call the city hall. Yeah, the state can't be me.
Trade in, there we go. There we go. Good luck everyone. Okay.
They told me they never even sit and even break.
Undergoing frustration. I'm the fast line today, but I ain't giving up. I need a bit help and I'm gonna get it now. You see me on the way.
Stinking in the trench, stalking like a leech. It could conceive your conscience, all this for the bitch. But what is the use? Dying like a fool. But they give me credit, deserve ashes up just to tally up. But you know, no, never know. This scarlet fever makes me fall. Rest in habitus, see things in jails brew. Sell me a fago, mister, let me stay at home. Then I pawned my watch, my pelvis aches and down. Saw too many things, piece of cheese before the blast had come. That's the only way. That's the only way. I feel tired. Carnius, carotid, carnius. Guts foaming, smoking trash, sleeping in no quiet. Being gravity could not reach me. Was it class to fight? But what's the syllable? Would it set my soul? Brashness counts a lot. For what calendars could I keep or took? swallowed what you did to give someone a little care. There's no reason to dance the way we know, and soon I'll love some more and like to smile the way you do. I'll soon find neighbors to make life a little easier. Who's that? Does the sun want to see me? come and see me too. There's a lot I'd like to tell you, you'll find interesting. Lady, wanna feel at home? Champagne, let's drink it in vain. Still used to impress the naive, well, shucks, expensive part. If you only could conceive just what you mean to me, me. My heart is pounding at the thought of you. Bam, 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 your perfume is so fine to me. Sly eyes, let me be with you. Sly eyes, come and see me too. There's a lot I'd like to tell you, you'll find interesting. Laggard, while the feeble poem. Stop playing, don't start that again. I'm abused to address ladies, but shucks, extensive slow. If you only could conceive just what you mean to me, me. My heart is pounding at the thought of you. Bam, 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 your perfume is so fine, and you are always mine. Polarized, no apology. Scream for a new technology. There's a lie in every billion that say go sour. Laggard, while the feeble poem. Stop playing, don't start that again. I'm abused to address ladies, well, shucks, extensive slow. If you only could conceive just what you mean to me, me. My heart is pounding at the thought of you. Bam, 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 your perfume is so fine, and you are always mine. Sly eyes, let me be with you. Sly eyes, come and see me too. There's a lot I'd like to tell you, you'll find interesting.
Paradise in the heart of mine is better than something less. The first time we met, something strange inside happened. Nothing to equal the emptiness.
shall truly get tired in due course. Another thing to say is my Jaguar still standing out in the rain on Water Street. So we'll be in paradise, and the heart of mine is better than something less. The first time we met, something strange inside happened. Nothing to equal the emptiness.